What it do, snackers and snackettes? It's your boy Gage here. This is the Snackin and Hanging podcast, which is the Loading Snacks podcast. This is episode 31. I am joined by the usual suspects. Speak to the people, Sin.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let's go.
And New Joker.
What it do, what it do?
All right, now look, before we jump too deep into the game, Joker, you finally got a chance to see Suicide Squad, correct?
I did.
Okay, what did you think?
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was the greatest thing, but yet I didn't think it was, absolutely horrible though.
Okay. So, do you agree or disagree with the rating it has on Rotten Tomatoes?
What did Rotten Tomatoes give it?
I don't know, like 4. I don't know. I think like a 30. Hold on, let me see.
I'm gonna look it up while we're sitting here.
Yeah.
I don't think it was worth a 30. I definitely think it was entertaining.
I put it to you this way. I know that the score that it has is worse than the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck.
Nah, definitely doesn't deserve that.
Absolutely not.
I know that. So yeah.
Tomato meter 26%.
Yeah, that's terrible, bruh. That's terrible. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before. I just think I think DC's just in a really, really tough spot right now. I just think it's really, really tough to overcome all of what they got going on. Sausage Party, on the other hand, whoo boy, getting it these days.
Yeah, I need to see that.
Yeah.
I need to see that.
Yeah. But anybody else think it's funny that BoJack Horseman has a perfect 100% on Rotten Tomatoes?
I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes of that, like when they first put it up. So apparently I need to watch it a little bit more to see if it deserves that 100%.
I guess, bruh.
Because I like Will Arnett, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That joint is clearly getting it right now. Yeah. So this past week we had Gamescom. There was tons of crap that happened at Gamescom. I mean, there was a lot of trailers and a lot of announcement stuff, but one of the biggest things was that they kind of put the word out about the technical test for Titanfall 2. Mm-hmm. I know that we've all had a chance to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna start with you, Sin. What did you think? Cause New Joker and I didn't play together, but we were online at the same time in a party while we were playing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with you and just see what you got, what your impressions were.
So I like the fact they're doing like this pre-test. I don't know, like that just shows me that they're serious about working out all the kinks and all that kind of stuff. That whatever people had issues with in part 1, that they're serious about getting it out there to the public, taking the feedback, seeing how it is. I actually forgot how fun it was playing it. Even though there wasn't much to it in the first one. Like, there was no single-player campaign, which we got now, but we get to play that in the test. I like to see it to be a little bit more diversity with the characters as far as, like, what you can do with your weapon loadout and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with the sniper class, and, that's me. Like,
right.
That needs to be tweaked. Like, I didn't mind the weapons, but having a sniper rifle and then having, like, a big, heavy, like, rocket launcher or grenade launcher, like, for a secondary, just...
It's a little tricky.
Yeah, it just didn't work. Like, there's nothing to do if somebody gets, like, mid-range to close up on you. Like, you had not even a pistol to protect yourself. You know what I mean? But it looks like you'll be able to, switch out weapons to a certain extent. I like the bounty mode. I thought it was too long. But the bounty match, seemed to be interesting.
I mean, I will say on that, what's funny is I'm just jumping in because I actually was feeling the same way.
Okay.
But then I realized that I think part of the reason why the bounty mode takes so long is because it just goes back and forth. It's all based on how many kills you get, because you basically earn money for every kill, and then you basically have to bank it at the end of each round. And so if the other team starts to make a comeback, then the match starts to go longer. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with you. But I kind of understand why I like bounty mode though.
I did enjoy it. I like the fact that once you collect your bounty, you get like a special Titan that can come down that somebody can get in and go wreak havoc with and stuff like that. I like the
Right.
personalities they seem to be throwing in with that we've seen with the Titans. Like just we only saw
Yeah.
two of them, but two very different. Female and a big bassy heavy type of guy in the Scorch one. So I don't know. So far as for a pre-alpha, it looks like they're taking the right steps in order to get it right. I
Right.
thought the grappling hook was a
I
little bit slow.
I don't know. That joint was kind of amazing though. What about you, New Joker?
So far, I've enjoyed it so far. Same thing like Sin said. I mean, the one mode, like it can take a little while when you're playing it, but so far, I mean, I don't have any complaints about it. I know with the latest patch that they did, they kind of adjusted the times with the Titans. I kind of
Yeah.
like how you just don't get a Titan like after your first 20 seconds of playing, unless you just somehow miraculously kill a whole bunch of people within the first 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But otherwise, that's pretty smooth. I mean, I haven't personally run into any kind of glitches or anything necessarily yet in the alpha, which I think is kind of a good thing because maybe that means they're very working pretty quickly with it.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, I mean, I didn't initially I didn't really think I was going to get Titanfall 2, but I mean, just with this little bit of a preview that we've gotten so far, it's kind of gotten me on the shelf now, really thinking about picking it up again because the first one just got repetitive too much. I'm really looking forward to the campaign mode though. I really want to get my hands on
Me
that.
too.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm really just doing the technical tests to see what it looks like and how it feels and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it feels like it did before. It seems a little bit smoother. It definitely looks really good. Like graphically, I'll put it to you this way. I mean, for a technical test, compared to like the technical test or the beta that we got for Gears of War 4, like Gears of War 4 looked terrible compared to this. Now it looks a lot better now. Which clearly shows that they did improvements and that they really intended for it to be like a tech test. But this being so close to the game's release at the end of October, this is really like the game's done, but we need to test these servers. And the reason why they're doing this test is because the first time when the game came out, because it was exclusive to the Xbox, not just Xbox One, it was on the 360 as well. But because it was exclusive to the Xbox, they used the Microsoft Cloud, the Azure Cloud, to do the network stuff, as far as like matchmaking and all that kind of stuff. And this time, because they're going multi-platform, they're using a new network to do that. And so they have to test that. They got to make sure that they got all their kinks and stuff out of the system. So they literally were like, in the interviews that I watched with them at Gamescom, they were like, come up in here and break these servers. Like, we need you to break the servers so we can figure out what we need to do to get them right. Now, part of what I did was I played it on the Xbox One and I played it on the PS4. I just wanted to see if there were any differences. You know what I mean? And they don't feel any different. I mean, other than, the standard controller stuff. Now they look a little bit different. It seems like the PS4 has a little bit more detail in certain things like the grass and stuff like that, but the color's more washed out by comparison. So I guess it really just kind of comes down to preference. But other than that, I mean, as far as control and movement and whatever, they pretty much feel the same. And I didn't really see a discernible difference. But I mean, I think the game overall, it looks good. It feels like it's good. I didn't wait a long time to get into a match or anything. Did you guys have trouble getting into any matches?
No, I jumped in instantly.
Nah, no problem.
Yeah. Now,
connecting.
I didn't try any like private matches or try to like invite friends into a match or anything like that because somebody mentioned to me, asked me about that if I had any trouble with that, and I didn't try that, so that could be a thing. But again, they're doing one here now, and then it's going to be gone for like 4 days, and then they're doing another technical test in like a week. And again, they've already done an update to fix like how long it takes to get your Titan and stuff like that. So, clearly they're paying attention and watching what they're doing. Again, I really don't care about the multiplayer. I'm more interested in the single player. That is really probably all I'd really buy it for. So if the reviews drop and the single player campaign appears to be any good, then I'll definitely grab it. You know what I mean? Other than that, man, you guys have any last words? Anything else you want to say about that? Before we talk a little bit more about Gamescom?
Nah, that seems to pretty much cover it. We all like we played so far. I mean, play a little bit more, let them take it away, and see how when they bring it back out to us. Let's just test it again and check out the improvements and stuff.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. All right, so couple of other things that happened at Gamescom. I want to touch base and get you guys' opinions on. We're gonna start with Metal Gear Survive. There's been a lot of backlash about Metal Gear Survive, which I don't necessarily know if it's warranted. On Twitter and all that, people are like so upset with Konami for doing a Metal Gear game that isn't attached to Kojima.
But they didn't expect that.
And we knew, that's what I'm saying, like we knew it was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just too soon. You know what I mean? It hasn't even been a full year since since the last game came out. Now it's not like they dropped a new game. You know what I mean? They just showed a trailer for a game. I don't even know when it's coming out. I don't think it's this year though.
Nah.
So by the time it comes out, it'll be after the fact. But I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like, and you guys just kind of chime in and let me know if you agree, but I feel like the backlash that is coming from this, okay, let me just, for those of you who are not aware, Metal Gear Survive is basically, they showed a trailer. It basically is like at the end of Metal Gear 5 when your mother base gets destroyed. It's like gets sucked into another dimension, and you are now playing as people who did not escape. And you got sucked into this other dimension that has like these kind of crazy looking monsters and zombies and things like that. And it's basically a 4-player survival co-op game, kind of like a Left 4 Dead or / Resident Evil, something like that. And so it is not a Metal Gear game in the true sense of a Metal Gear game. It's a little bit more of an offshoot, something similar to like Revengeance. And I just feel like if this had Kojima's name on it, people would be like, oh, like people would be excited. Like, oh, he's back. He did another one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's just because they know he doesn't have anything to do with it. Like, again, I'm one of those people who's like, that Death Stranded trailer, for all intents and purposes that they showed it at E3, for all intents and purposes, that trailer was garbage. It was pretty, but it told you nothing. You have no idea what kind of game it is, what kind of gameplay it is, what's happening in the game, what's going on with it. Like, you don't know anything. And people are taking that trailer like it is the end-all, be-all of all games because it's got Kojima's name on it. And it's like, you guys didn't even see anything. Like, nothing even happened. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of like it wasn't even a trailer that, like, gave you an idea of what you'd be doing in the game. So I just feel like, people are overreacting.
They are.
I really do. I mean,
they are. They are. I agree. It's the Kojima name and what everything that happened. Like, that's the only reason why people are flipping out. I agree 100%. That's the only reason why people are screaming and hollering. Like, shut up. Like, you knew this was gonna happen. Come on now. They got that Metal Gear name. They're gonna put out some Metal Gear games and make that money.
Yeah. I mean, people are gonna buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be plenty of people who don't know the difference. They're going to buy it.
Yeah. Come on now. Stop that.
I mean, it's as much as I would love to have Kojima money. I mean, it's still Metal Gear. So, I mean, I'm sure Konami is not going to try to absolutely destroy the franchise. I mean, it's one even without Kojima behind it. It's just, it's well known. Like, and I'm going to play it. I mean,
look, this is what I'll tell you. I understand that Kojima is the guy behind Metal Gear. But for real, that, like, so what? For real, like, I don't, not to be disrespectful, but it's kind of like, but what else have you done? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been saying he wanted to get away from Metal Gear for a long time, which I think is cool. You know what I mean? I almost feel like, let's imagine for a second that Kojima had stayed at Konami, but he just wasn't doing Metal Gear. It's not like they were going to stop doing Metal Gear games.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's say Death Stranded was coming out, and it was a Konami game, but it was Kojima doing it, right? People are still excited, but then when another Metal Gear game comes out, or when this shows up as an offshoot or whatever it is, and who knows, this joint might have been in planning prior to, you know what I mean? But, you know, then what? I mean, the thing for me is, it's like, people kind of hold Kojima up on this pedestal. I think that the games themselves are fun, and certainly the you know, Metal Gear Solid franchise has done a lot in terms of kind of like breaking new ground and doing some new things, but I mean, it's not like they're great stories. They are the most ridiculous and discombobulated stories. Like, I don't even know what's going on in Metal Gear. I don't even care. I don't care. I don't care about the story. I just play it because the game is fun to play. You know what I mean? But, like, I can't tell you Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, Metamorphosis Snake, Snake Eater, Snake Charmer, Big Boss, Bad Boss, Fox Lake, Lake Fox, Fox Tail, Telltale. I don't know what's going on, bruh. What I know is it's supposed to be a guy who is a one-man army and is going to take down a big mech. That's what it's supposed to be. Once they got past that, I was pretty much through. So you know, like, for me, this doesn't seem all that out of the norm or incredible. You know what I mean? Like, once we started fighting dudes like Psycho Mantis, I was like, oh, all right, well, we way beyond, you know what I mean, just dudes fighting dudes trying to deal with a big machine. So this isn't that crazy to me that, I don't know, they got sucked into another universe and they're fighting creatures that have the T virus.
Something.
So, I don't know. I think people are overreacting. The game might not be bad at all.
Yeah.
So,
look, Revengeance was cool. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was completely
Yeah.
different from a standard Metal Gear game. It was Devil May
Right.
Cry Bayonetta.
Yeah,
But-
I think a
but
lot
it
of
all-
people just liked it a little bit more just because there was a character they were familiar with too, being Raiden. That'd be another thing
which
too.
I think they gave was a little bit forgiving, and I also think the fact that Platinum did it was kind of like, oh man, well, we like Platinum and they do action games, and you know, I think it was okay kind of as an offshoot. And again, I feel like if Konami had done this, but they had given it to another studio that was like a well-known studio, maybe people would have been like, oh, I mean, all right, you know what I mean? But maybe trying to do it if you were another studio would have been a death sentence for your studio just because of the hate. So
Very true.
maybe that just wouldn't have been a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, but come on now, 4-player co-op, like right then, that's already on our radar. So
Yeah, you know,
like,
it is.
Let's just give us the gameplay trailer so we get a little bit understanding of how we're supposed to play this.
Yeah, because if you telling me I'm gonna get me one of them spinning arrows my man had at the end of
What?
that trailer, I'm in there.
Yes.
I'm all the way in there.
Yes. Hey, we can create our own little random soldier or something. Who knows? Like, let's go.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm super down. I ain't just down, bro. I'm super down.
Yep.
Was there anything else that stood out to you guys from Gamescom that you know just kind of piqued your interest or stood out on your radar? I mean, a lot of stuff. We saw a lot of stuff that we had seen already. Battlefield 1 and you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there was a lot of trailers, but anything that just stood out for either of you guys?
No, that literally was the thing.
Yeah, that was about it. I mean, only of the news of Final Fantasy, but I mean,
pushed back. Yeah.
that's one of those good bad things. It's like, oh great, we're not getting Final Fantasy. But they're gonna polish it and make it look even as good as it can be. So I'm like,
taking away
okay.
the day one patch so that people who don't have internet will have all those issues fixed. That's the reason why. They didn't want to do it. He said he thought about it. He didn't want to do a day one patch. So let's just take it back, polish it all up, put all that stuff in the game instead of making people download it and then release it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know if I really completely believe that, but
Look, I'm not mad.
it could be a little bit of backlash from what happened with No Man's Sky. You know, with people, just the huge differences in that game after the day one patch compared to before the day one patch. But again, the truth is, nobody would have known if the game hadn't leaked and gotten out early. So I don't know. I don't know about all that. But I mean, it's cool. Like I was looking forward to it. My only concern about Final Fantasy now is they push it back to like November 29th, and it's like that's after Black Friday, so that tends to be bad. And all like Titanfall, Battlefield, Call of Duty, like Gears of War, all that's gonna be out already.
Yep, and I have
You know what
played it and
I'm
be
saying?
done with
So
it by then. So I'll be having nothing
yeah,
to focus on but that. So that's the reason I'm happy. Like it was coming out in a block where we had Destiny, we had Gears, we had Forza, like all it was coming out like in that same like 2-3 week span of all these other games. I'm like, good lord, how am I gonna focus on Final Fantasy when we got Destiny? I'm trying to run and race in Forza. We're trying to do a horde mode, all that kind of stuff, run through the campaign in Gears. Like now that it's coming out further, only thing on my radar that it has to compete with is Watch Dogs 2. That's it.
yeah. I mean, I guess my concern about it is just like not really my concern, but I almost feel like they should have just delayed it to next year. Like I don't necessarily feel like they should even bother to put it out this year. They probably should have waited and put it out in like January or February. You know what I mean? Like I really feel like if they'd have put it out like second week, third week of January, people got their little gift cards, they got their little money from Christmas or whatever, and kind of a lot of the hullabaloo is over. There's no other games around for the most part, and they could kind of, what I'm saying, drop it and be done with it, and not kind of be stuck in the midst of all that. But I mean, again, it's a game that's gonna have hours and hours and hours
Mm-hmm.
of gameplay, and so maybe it benefits from being a little further out. Um, Personally, I think that should have been a summertime game. If they ain't learned anything from The Witcher, that's what they should have learned. You put that thing out in the middle of the summer when there's nothing else to do, and people will play it. Um, so yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much it though from Gamescom. I mean, again, there was a lot of stuff. Ukulele got an actual official trailer that was cool.
Yep.
And we saw a couple of other things. Man, let me tell you something real quick. Tekken 7 looks amazing. All right, I'm done. That joint, whoo!
Yeah, I'm
That
looking
joint
forward to
looks
it. I am.
good. God, that joint looks
I'm
amazing.
not looking forward to the ass beatings I will be receiving, but I'm looking forward to playing the game.
I mean, it's all good, bro. You know what? We just gonna have a training camp. That's what we're gonna do.
I'm not looking forward to Paul or King. I don't want anything to do with them.
Them's my dudes right there, buddy.
Goddamn Paul Phoenix, I swear.
Them's my guys right there. Everybody hate Paul, man. I don't understand why.
I got reasons to
He's
hate
like-
Paul.
he's like-
I got reasons to
he's-
hate Paul.
He's like the Ken of their franchise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's also a pain in the ass when you got him.
Yeah. All right.
I
Fair.
mean, you look, credit what credit's due. You vicious with him. Just, I'm not looking forward to that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, and I understand. Okay, so look, before we take a break, I just want to take a moment to just, I need a second to just say, this news that just recently broke about Zendaya playing Mary Jane in the new Spider-Man movie seems to have some people up in arms.
Just a little bit.
I might be one of them, sort of. I am not. I mean, look, I told somebody the other day, I was like, for real, maybe a mixed girl is the equivalent of a redhead from the 60s. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's different, and it's not the standard average, blonde hair, blue eyes kind of, you know what I mean, Gwen Stacy, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. Like maybe maybe it is the real time equivalent right now of that. Somebody actually made a remark on our Twitter about it when we posted it. Just kind of saying like, why mess that up? And my response back to him was just, the truth is, you just kind of got to wait and see. You know what I mean? And see what they do with it. Everything else that they've done has been a pretty good decision.
And didn't we say that last week or the week before, something like that? Like, Marvel's casting, they've been on point.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
They're putting her in the role of Mary Jane. So just like you just said, let's just sit back and just see.
I mean, look, this is kind of the way I will put it to you.
Mm-hmm.
In real life, Zendaya is a single named actress slash model slash comedian slash, like, she technically fits the bill
Okay.
of what Mary Jane was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In that whole thing, I'm, an actress slash model slash whatever. So personality wise, she fits the bill. And outside of the fact that she's a white girl with red hair, there really aren't other major characteristics of her than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when I think of Mary Jane, I think of classic Mary Jane with the red hair. But that's not, it doesn't necessarily have to be that. This isn't as blasphemous to me as, like, making Johnny Storm a black dude. So, Mary Jane don't have no powers. You know what I mean? Like, she's a girl. She's a girl who happens to be tall and pretty and an actress slash model, and Zendaya fits that description. So, again, as we usually say, let's wait and see. We'll pass judgment when we get there.
Yep.
Agreed.
Just believe. I'm gonna judge real hard though.
Oh, this Spider-Man. I don't expect anything less.
I'm judging real hard.
Think you could be in there with a clipboard and a checklist.
Real talk. My kids, you know what? It's funny. My kids love Zendaya, and I don't really understand why. Like, I don't have anything against her, but I don't know why. They just do. They love her. So, all right, they excited. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. So anyway, let's take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and talk about a couple other things on the board. We cool with that?
Yep.
Cool.
All right, let's do it. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Snackin Hangin podcast, episode 31.
31.
Hey, so I want to run something past you guys. I didn't prepare you guys for this on purpose. But so, okay. We got an announcement basically just after Gamescom, or maybe right at the end of the Gamescom or whatever, but that Sony is going to do a technical preview on September 7th. They haven't said what it is, but all rumors state that this is going to be about the Neo. Is that, you guys aware of this?
Yeah.
I'm not, but go ahead and keep filling me in.
Okay, so yeah. So on September 7th, in New York at the PlayStation Theater, or at the Sony Theater. I don't remember which one it is, but it's one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the Sony PlayStation Theater, so maybe it's both. But anyway, on September 7th, which I think is a Tuesday, they have invited all this media out to come. Okay. They've invited all this media to come out to what they're saying is going to be a technical showcase. And I guess it's kind of easy to assume maybe it's about PSVR. But pretty much everyone is positive that this is about the PlayStation Neo. And so, that we'll get what the official name is.
Right.
And we'll get the final specs. They also did say along, now here's the thing, they didn't necessarily say that this was about the Neo, but they did also say that at that time, the final dev kits for the PS Neo were going out to developers, okay? Now, if you remember originally, the original leaked document said that come, like, the end of September, beginning of October, all games that were being released had to be able to run on both. Y'all remember that?
Right, yep.
They had to have, like, 2 modes or whatever. Okay. And so the speculation is that the Neo is going to come out this year. First of all, do you think that's true? Like, do you think it's too late to just announce it and drop it? Like, in October? Like, it's going to come out alongside the PSVR? Do y'all think that even can happen?
Nah, I mean, I think it can happen. I mean, you drop it. I mean, they're going to have let's say this truly is for the Neo and whatever it's going to be called. I mean, if they come and present it the right way, people will be up in arms, and chances are they'll buy the Neo and the VR set. They may even have a bundle for it when it drops out,
Yeah.
which is going to make me have to go a little bit back to the drawing board because, I mean, I've already pre-ordered my
VR.
VR headset,
Right.
and it's like I don't want to chance canceling that to pre-order, like, say, this other bundle that possibly I may not be able to get.
Right.
So
If it's a better deal, is what you're saying. Like if you can get
exactly.
both together. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I. I mean, look. A lot of people are saying that they think Sony shouldn't do that because it's just too much money. I mean, basically, they said themselves like they're treating the PSVR like a console launch, and it's expensive. And you'd have to imagine that the Neo has to come out somewhere in the same, you know what I mean, like the same price range. Um, what do you think, Sin? I mean,
Let's see. They're talking about this tech thing on the 7th, which that's pretty much in the fall. Uh, to
it's 2
release,
weeks out.
yeah,
It's 2 weeks from now,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
yeah.
It's right after. It's right after Labor Day.
I won't be surprised if they tried to launch it this year, but I'm thinking maybe early next year. I don't know. Like it's just I don't know, weird little window. Like at least we're finally getting to see it and see specs and see all this kind. Actually, physically see the well, not physically, but visually see it.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. See and get all this and get step all the speculation. Actually see the console, see the specs, hear what it can do supposedly. I think it'd be smart if they can get it out in this by the end of this year. That'd be some good holiday money to cash in on. But then, like you say, too expensive. You're competing with the VR, which is expensive in itself. I don't know. I think rolling it back to the beginning of next year might be a better bet. Just let people get their VRs, let people get that, stack their money, and then go get the PlayStation Neo right around the corner.
Um. So I think they're gonna put it out. I think they're gonna do this joint on the 7th, and I think they're gonna announce it, and I think it's gonna come out like the same day as PlayStation VR. And here's the only reason why I say that. If you come out, like, think about the backlash. Even though it was like a really positive thing, like people were excited about the Scorpio, people were excited about the Xbox One S. The Xbox One S is sold out, whatever, right? Getting ready to come back out again in the smaller versions, the smaller hard drive versions this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there were a lot of people who were like, why would you do that? Why would you announce this brand new slim console, have people all excited about the fact that it does HDR, blah, 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 and then turn around and right at the end of the conference, you started the conference by announcing that, and then you end the conference by saying, yeah, but there's one that's way better that's coming out this time next year, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and basically you would cannibalize your sales, which clearly didn't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, right now, again, the PlayStation's leading. They're doing great. Microsoft won console sales last month, which doesn't happen. So, but if you come out in 2 weeks and announce this system, and you put a price on it, and you say it's coming out in spring against like the NX, right, which probably destroys the NX and any hope they have of anything, and it's coming out next spring. Don't you effectively destroy any console sales you might get this holiday for just a regular
Uh,
PlayStation? I mean, depending, right? Like if they come out
Right.
and they announce it and then they say, well, we're dropping the price of the regular PlayStation down to this. And so next year, so it'll be, the regular PlayStation 4 is going to be $299. It's going to be $250.
Mm-hmm.
And next year this will come out and it'll be 400, whatever, 500. Maybe you maintain sales, but I would think that there's a higher chance, because the other thing is, if you weren't going to release this until the spring, wouldn't you wait until the PlayStation Experience, which the last 2 years has happened in December, to decide you're going to do this? Like, why are you doing a technical showcase? You understand what I'm saying? Like, that to me says we're going to show you what it looks like. We're going to show you how it runs. We're going to show you how effective this machine is working with the PlayStation VR, because the one major thing PlayStation VR has going against it is that everybody who's into VR is like, Yeah, but of the VRs, it's the worst one. It's the worst looking. It just is not as powerful. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't do it as well as Oculus or as the Vive or whatever, right? So if you're gonna announce it now, to me, you're announcing it now so you can put it out this year.
Agreed.
Right? And then if you're gonna put it out right now, and you drop the price of the regular PlayStation 4 for all the people who don't have a 4K TV or who aren't gonna get a PSVR or don't care, or even if you want a PSVR but you're not ready to move into a 4K TV yet, you just effectively boosted your sales for the regular PlayStation 4 because people are gonna buy that because the price dropped.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? But if you announce a price for it, even especially if you don't announce a price for it, people are gonna be like, "Well, I'll just wait," because I know if nothing else, when they do it, the price is gonna drop for the regular PlayStation.
Right. And on top of that, did you see also apparently that they leaked supposedly also the PS4 Slim, which I'm just guessing is just going to possibly just be a redesign of the PS4, the one now, just kind of to have that regular Xbox One / Xbox One S kind of feel. I mean, I don't really see that there's going to be any major hardware difference if the Slim comes out in comparison to obviously the regular PS4.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing they'll do that. Drop the price a little bit.
I don't think it's worth it for Sony to do a PS4 Slim. Like, the PS4 is already not that big of a system. Mm-hmm. And what Microsoft benefited from by doing the Slim was getting rid of the power brick, obviously shrinking the system down. But for real, the real big difference is the 4K HDR and the fact that it's an ultra HD Blu-ray player. If a new PS4 comes out and it's exactly the same thing but it's smaller, why would you buy that? You know what I'm saying? Unless it's just a really good price. You see what I'm saying? Like, why would you buy a PS4 when you could buy an Xbox One S that's an Ultra HD player, knowing that probably in the next couple of years, most people are going to upgrade if you don't have one yet? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that? Or you would wait and get the Neo, right? Because you got to assume the Neo's got to have an Ultra Blu-ray player in it.
Right. I'm just guessing maybe just some dumb, stupid price on it. That would be the only...
That's
realistic thing.
If a PS4 Slim comes out and it has a 4K Blu-ray player in it and does some kind of 4K and truly rivals the Xbox One S, then now we're talking. But like to put out a PlayStation 4 Slim now, that seems dumb. You know what I mean? I would just drop the price of the regular one. You know what I mean? And let people buy it because, again, the system's already a decent size, personally. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't do that. But here's the other thing that I think is kind of beginning to, this landscape is changing. And just this week, if you looked at there was a Gamescom interview, a Eurogamer interview where Aaron Greenberg, who, is like the head of marketing for Xbox, basically said, this is the last console generation, okay? Which some people are like, no, that's not possible. But I think effectively what he's saying is, this is it. Like, we're not gonna continue to make systems where you get a new box and all your old stuff doesn't work anymore, like has traditionally happened when a new console generation happens. That's generally what that meant. New generation meant your old stuff didn't work. SNES is out. Your NES games don't work on that anymore unless you keep your NES. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're out of those games. Microsoft is trying to create... Both companies, both Sony and Microsoft, has said that they have been looking very heavily at the Apple model, which is every couple of years, every year really, a new version comes out that's a little bit better, a little bit more powerful. It's a luxury item. Maybe you trade in your old one, you upgrade, pay a little bit extra to get the new one, right? And it can do a few more things. You know what I'm saying? But it's not necessarily going to be uncommon for you to have more than one of these things in your house and one that's a little bit better than the other one, but all your stuff is still going to work. Right. And that is kind of what the point is supposed to be. And, like, ever since Microsoft did this at E3, people have been like, this whole thing about them, really ever since the rumors about the Neo came out, people have been like, this whole thing about doing a console like every 2 years and making it iterative and getting more powerful and whatever, and people comparing it to phones is ridiculous. Consoles are not phones or whatever. Fact of the matter is, it's not about the hardware. It's about the software. It's about what the hardware can do with the software.
Mm-hmm.
You get better hardware that can run the software better or continues to run your old software, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sure, eventually at some point, maybe it doesn't work as well on an older one, you know what I mean, or whatever. But if you think about it, Microsoft tried this a couple of years ago. When the Xbox One came out, I don't know if y'all remember this, but think about it this way. Really probably the biggest thing that people would say against the idea of consoles and phones and them kind of having the same idea of an ecosystem or putting iterative consoles out is that a lot of times with your phone, you subsidize your phone, right? Like most people don't pay $400, $500, $600, $800 for their phone. Most people they don't necessarily even sign a contract, but you get a new phone and you pay monthly, right? To pay off your phone, right? And you're not allowed to get a new phone or whatever unless you pay off the one that you have, okay? Microsoft tried that. If y'all remember, in like, I want to say 2013, like when the Xbox One, the same year the Xbox One came out, they did a version of the 360 that was like $99. But you had to agree to do 2 years of Xbox Live.
Xbox Live, I do remember that.
But you had to pay like $15 a month. So you basically you basically did a contract like a phone. And you basically agreed to do 2 years of Xbox Live at like $15 a month, which is already like $5 more expensive than a regular month is or something like that anyway. But if you were strapped for cash or if you really wanted a system that had this great library, you know what I mean? You could walk out to the store with a $100 system and you just pay monthly. And basically that monthly fee, that extra $5 you were paying monthly for Xbox Live, you were basically paying for the cost of the system, which is the same thing as buying a phone now and paying for it month over month. Am I crazy?
No. No.
Right? And it started out as like, I think the 360E or something like that. But then eventually they opened it up to other versions of the 360. And the rumor was that they were looking at doing that for the Xbox One when the Xbox One came out. And I will bet you the only reason why they didn't do it was because of the backlash they had with like Always Online and stuff like that from when they did the original announcement. So if you think about it, and that doesn't mean that this won't still happen. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, you got to think about it. Right now, what's happening is Sony wants you in their ecosystem. This is their first real attempt to get you into and have you stay in their ecosystem like Apple does. If you are an iPhone user, even if you don't use a Mac computer, you probably have an iPad and an iPhone, possibly an iPod, you know, whatever, and you've bought all this music, possibly downloaded movies or whatever, you're in that ecosystem. You're not going anywhere because all the stuff you own is tied specifically to that, period, right? Sony's trying to do the same thing, right? They have the PlayStation Now, the PlayStation View, you can go in the PlayStation Store and download movies. Microsoft has the same thing. Download movies from the Microsoft Store, blah, blah, blah. Microsoft is trying to integrate everything into the same thing. So the computers that you already have, which for them, they have a model that already is much closer to what Apple has, where Apple has computers and they have these devices that you carry around with you everywhere. Microsoft has something closer to that, where they can just be like, all right, well, you're already here, right? Don't you take your laptop with you everywhere you go? You know what I mean? Don't you take your Windows tablet with you everywhere you go? Don't you, you know what I mean? Well, sure, but when you sit down and you play your Xbox, you sign in with the same account. You just pull up your movies and watch them on your TV. You know what I mean? Your games work everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, wherever you are, just put in your account. You can pull up your games and play them. You know what I'm saying? Like, Sony has got to be going after that same thing. And I think it's important for them to get into that, announce that. Now, it's going to be important how they word it when they say it.
Of course.
But
one wrong word
making sure
will ruin something.
Right. coming out right now and being like, hey, this Neo is not replacing the PlayStation 4. It is something designed to sit along with or be an upgraded version of, but all your stuff you already bought is going to work. Your stuff plays better. Like the Xbox One S is actually a bit more powerful than the Xbox One. It will run your games at higher frame rates. It plays a little bit faster. So it's not just a smaller system. Like it does do a little bit more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll output. If you have a 4K TV, it will take your old games and it will upconvert to 4K. You're not actually playing games in 4K. For that, you're going to need a Scorpio.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking this ain't nowhere near new. Like, they've been trying to do this for quite some time. And Sony, I think, tried to do it more with their hardware than in the software side because they're not technically a software company. Microsoft is. But for Sony, it was 3D and 3D glasses, and I'm going to sell you a 3D TV with the glasses with the PlayStation all together, and you guys can play. You know what I'm saying? Remember that? They had the TV, and it was like both people could play 3D and had their own screen still. Kind of thing. They did that whole thing with the PS3, and, for them it was hardware. We're going to put out the PS3, but the PS3 is going to have a Blu-ray player. The 360 doesn't have a Blu-ray player. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. That was where they were trying to go. They were trying to stay ahead of the curve as far as the technology and the hardware. But really, software is kind of where everything's moving to. You got to have the hardware to run it. But if you can get somebody in that ecosystem, if you've been a PlayStation fan long enough, now that's the other thing that they need to do is part of what Microsoft has done. Once they did that 360 backwards compatibility, now knowing that if you go to a Scorpio, you go to a 1S, you still have all that. Right? And basically what they're trying to tell you is whatever comes after the Scorpio, if 2 years after Scorpio, if in 2019 they have a Xbox Scorpio 2 that's more powerful than the Scorpio is, all your stuff from the 360 up is still going to work? You're still going to be able to do that? Clearly you might not be able to play something that comes out for that system on one of those older systems.
Right.
But if you upgrade to a new system, you don't lose all your old stuff, which is what used to happen, which gives you incentive to trade your stuff in. You know what I mean? So if GameStop comes out October 3rd and says, hey, if you trade in your PlayStation 4, we're going to give you X amount of additional money towards a PlayStation Neo, and people come to get the VR, they might bang it out this holiday. Yeah?
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's a lot of money. Let's not even. It's a lot of money.
Oh Lord, yes.
And then all the confusing stuff with HDR. Like, a lot of people have 4K TVs that don't do HDR. You know what I mean? But it's not really different from people that had HD TVs. My first HD TV didn't have HDMI. It was all component. It was still HD, but it was all component. So that's tech for you. You know what I mean? If you were an early adopter to 4K, there's a good chance that what you have doesn't do HDR.
Right.
You'll still get 4K, but you're not going to get high dynamic range. That's just them's the breaks. You know what I'm saying? So personally, I think Sony can do this. I think they're going to announce it, and I think they're going to drop it. I think they're going to try to do what Apple does. Like, Apple is known for doing a press conference on Tuesday, and the product is on shelves on Friday. Type, you know what I'm saying? Like, and nobody knows it's coming. Like, they know it's coming because they announced that there's going to be a conference. You know what I mean? And, rumors and kind of leaks, and this is what it's going to be. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't stop people from being in line on that day. They're in line. They're in line calling work saying, I'm not coming.
Nope.
Like,
straight up.
They're in line watching the conference.
And I am certain that if Sony says, here's what it is, here's what it does, here's what God of War is going to look like, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't have any games. They don't have any games coming out. There's no reason to buy it. The only reason to buy anything PlayStation this holiday is for VR. That's it. There's no games coming out until like February when Horizon comes out. This is what Horizon's going to look like when it comes out in February if you're playing it on Neo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe people just be like, all right, sign me up. Let's go. I'll trade in my old joint. I'll get a new joint, and I'll be ready in February. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's going to upconvert. Here's what it looks like if you have a 4K and it upconverts to this. You know what I mean? And you want to play the new stuff they just uploaded for Battlefront. Or, you know, Rise of Iron.
Right.
With your exclusive content. Here's what Rise of Iron is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? When it comes out at the end of this month. Running on Neo. Because the only other thing I can think of is the fact that final dev kits aren't supposed to go out until like that same time. Still, that means dev kits have been out. Because we're just talking final dev kits.
Right.
So most people have a pretty good idea what they're going to be working with and what it's going to be. Because if you have any game that's coming out on the PlayStation, which almost every developer does, because it's the number one console that's in like 40 million homes, then, and you have a game that's coming out this year, think about anything that's coming out that's on PlayStation this year, it has to run on both.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a dev kit already. Can't be that you don't have a dev kit yet, or you are up the creek of Dukes.
Yeah.
You are up the creek of Dukes, bruh. So yeah, you're not passing certification. So I think they're gonna drop it, bruh. I absolutely think they're gonna drop it, and whether it's successful or not, I don't know. I think it'll be based on the messaging.
And all that stuff we find out on September 7th.
Yep.
Hey, we ain't got that long to know about
That's
it.
right.
No,
So
2.5
far,
weeks.
they've been pretty good with their messaging, man. So, you know, if they do this right, and don't piss off a lot of people.
That's
You know what I
the
mean?
key.
'Cause
Oh,
they
that's
have
the
so
key.
many people who have bought into the system now. You know what I mean? At this point, who are happy to be back on Sony. They got to do it right. So if they do it right, man, it'll be something, bruh. So I don't know. I know, New Joker, you're gonna be broke.
Oh, yeah.
Broke ain't the word.
Oh, yeah. His pockets
Poor?
are tapped.
I don't know what's the word. Poor.
Yeah, poor is more like the word.
I thought broke and poor were pretty damn close to each other, bruh. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, man. Anything else you guys want to touch on? Did I miss anything from Gamescom? Any big news this week?
You know what?
Talk about
New Joker, let me ask you a question, man.
Okay.
The Bleach announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Them doing a live action movie. How do you feel about that?
Being that it's from Japan, I feel very good about it.
Okay. Okay. I'll admit I was a little disappointed because, of course, give me the show. Like, just stop playing and bring back the show. But a movie, okay, I'm content. I'm cool. I'm wondering how they're gonna do it. Like, there's so much content. Like, where is it gonna take place at as far as storyline?
I mean, it can make a movie for even though it would be kind of super condensed if they made a movie for like each arc. I mean, maybe certain arcs have 2 movies. I mean, this is just an idea,
Right.
or it could be a whole original type of setup. Who knows?
Yeah, I find it interesting that the movie was the live action movie was the way they went. So I'm definitely keeping my eye out for more information of that sort. There's definitely some storyline plot details. You know what I mean? Because everybody
And
wants
with
to.
the way-
Everybody wants to see the captains and the lieutenants. You know what I mean? From Soul Society, but they didn't really show up until a little later down the line.
Yeah, and I mean, with the way the manga ended, I mean, honestly, it was like almost like a mirror image to the way Naruto Shippuden ended and got ready to start up with Boruto.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows, that we may get something else new from that as well too.
Well, I'm just hoping that whatever they do it right. It gets a whole bunch of people go out to go see it because that's how we will get back the show. And that's what I want more than anything. But
maybe. I saw an announcement about them announcing the new Avatar. after Korra. Did y'all see that?
No.
I've seen that a while. Like, it's the same one where they were going to announce whoever. I don't know if that's the same one that I've seen, because, I mean, there's been rumors about that for a long time. Like, it was going to be, like, a pair of twins from, I forgot, I think it was the Earth Kingdom. I don't remember what it was, but it was like a pair of twins were supposed to be the next avatars or something like that. But there's been a couple of different ideas about it. Like, I'm all for it. Like, I'm all for a new avatar. It's about time for it.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think that on the strength of Voltron, again, that was the same team. That if they do an Avatar, it will go straight to Netflix. That's what I think, and that's where I think it
Netflix or
should go.
Nickelodeon, I'll be perfectly fine with either one of them as long as we get it.
I don't think Nickelodeon. I think Nickelodeon. You got to remember what happened with Korra, man. Like that joint ended up as like a web series, and I think it was because of the controversy of the ending of that show. Is basically what happened. But yeah, I mean they ended up making that joint like a web series, and then it kind of like came back to Nickelodeon or whatever. Like I don't know. I hope that the writers actually have all the rights to it.
That was going to be the other piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, that's kind of tricky, but yeah, I hope they do another one, man. I'm ready for it. I don't want an Avatar more than I want another Young Justice.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that. I'm sorry, the way that the Young Justice series ended in season 2, like season 3, all hell was gonna start breaking loose probably in that first episode.
Yeah, that joint ended on the most anime cliffhanger. Like that joint just it was perfectly set up for another season. Like clearly they were not prepared to be told like, yeah, you're not getting another season. Like I don't even understand. Like they need to make that happen. Like I don't understand why. I'm not super inside. But, I mean, I know that Warner Brothers has the money to do it if they want to do it. And DC has the money to do it if they want to do it. The only question is, how is Cartoon Network involved in that? And is it about Cartoon Network just being like, nah, we don't want to do it, and they have the rights to it somehow? That's the only thing I can think of. Because if I was them, I'd be looking to get up on some Netflix, some Hulu, some something, cause that joint would get watched.
Oh yes, it would.
It would get seen.
Oh yes.
So
day one, views to the roof.
yeah, no doubt. All right, gentlemen. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Do me a favor, let everybody know where they can get you. Sin, you jump out there first.
Sure, why not? Social media. Y'all know the spots: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can hit me up at Sincere619. That also was on Xbox Live, on Snapchat, and the PlayStation Network. Same thing, just replace that I with an L, and you will find me there.
My man, New Joker.
Yes, sir. So get at me Instagram, Twitter, also on the gaming consoles, New Joker 89, and on Facebook, you can give me a New Joker's Adventures. And if you want to drop me an email, newjoker.loadingsnacks@gmail.com.
Oh man, and for myself, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm Empty Shells, MTSHELLZ. It also happens to be my gamer tag. Just a space between the M, the T, and the S on PlayStation and on Xbox. And make sure you guys go and you follow Loading Snacks on Instagram and Twitter, as well as on Facebook. And if you do not already, shoot over to youtube.com/the Loading Snacks Crew. Loading Snacks Crew. Or just search Loading Snacks on YouTube. You'll find us. And subscribe to us there. I want to thank you all very much for listening to the podcast. We look forward to seeing you at Baltimore Comic-Con in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And thank you for your support. We are almost at 7,000 followers on Instagram. So
Jeez,
thank you for that too. Keep right on pushing and moving, ladies and gentlemen. With that, we are out. Toodles and loos.